It's the moment you didn't know you're waiting for.
He is Carter.
He's Chad.
And this is the Irish 365 podcast.
All right, welcome into the Irish 365 podcast Boston review.
Yeah, post Boston. So I think Boston was Boston's a nice city. I like Boston.
For those of you who didn't know, we actually made the road trip out to Boston College this past weekend for our one road game of the year. One road game as of now, right?
As of now, currently, yes.
As we're talking about other plans off the air, but still trying to look convincing here. But yeah, Boston was beautiful. It was a great time. A lot of Notre Dame fans. The stadium was as expected, but different in so many ways, right?
Yeah, it was a little more dated than I expected. Not that it was, but it was well kept. It was, the campus was beautiful. It was a nice campus. It was, I think well kept campus. I think just more dated than I expected.
Yeah.
And
the stadium,
even like inside the buildings, they were remodeling some stuff. The buildings we were in, and I was a little surprised it was as dated and not terrible, but just it wasn't modern the way I anticipated. I guess the stadium looks more modern from the outside than it does on the inside. But it had a cool old aesthetic. I mean, it's not a very big stadium. I mean, we sat 13 rows off the field, and we went up and it stood in the section like next to the top row, basically, just for perspective. We stood in the top row as well, and there wasn't a bad seat in the stadium, and it was just So it was a
44,000. And sadly, the stadium got rocking because the game was close. Like, the stadium got into the game a little bit, and it made it fun, but again, wish it wasn't.
Yeah, the student section at Boston College got amped. The fans got a little hyped. I kind of figured it would be the Notre Dame fan takeover, and just because of the way we played, the Notre Dame fans, even though there was a lot of us, we were kind of quiet. It was that nervous energy, like, what are we doing? Like, what is going on? And there was some, just angst. I would put it in angst on the Notre Dame fan side. So
we can kind of get into the game. I mean, we come in versus 1-7 Boston College team. We kind of talked about it pre-game. What's Boston College got to do? There doesn't seem like a whole lot, but they figured out a plan and they executed. They were going to keep the ball. They were going to own the time of possession, and they were going to sell out to stop the run.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we had all five of us there, so I wasn't necessarily sitting. We're kind of sitting on opposite ends. I was on one end, and we had Caden, Mom, and Maddie in between us, and then you. But at one point, their safeties are 10 yards off the freaking line.
Yeah, they were going to give up the pass. They were not going to give up the run. That was clear.
Yeah, and they didn't want to get burnt on the run, and because I know they're one of the worst run defenses in the nation. And what do you have to do if you have one of the worst run nations in the defense in the nation? You got to sell out on the run, and that's exactly what they did. I mean, ended up with 159 rushing yards, I believe it was. But yeah, 92 on Jeremiah Love's one run.
Yeah.
Besides that, I mean, Boston College did a real nice job stopping the run.
Yeah, I mean, kudos to them for like having conviction to sell out on that and said, CJ Carr, you're going to beat us. Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price, you're not. And I think we'll probably see some other teams try that same technique going forward.
Let's not make it seem like CJ had a bad game. He went 18 for 25 and 299.
Oh yeah, CJ had a phenomenal game.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a quiet 300. You're like, oh, CJ had 300.
Yeah,
and not that he played bad. There was a couple of throws. You're like, not quite where you wanted it, but not terrible.
But here's the problem: 458 yards of total offense with 25 points. Yeah, I feel like we've kind of talked about this. The Notre Dame offense doesn't feel like it's struggling to move the ball; it's struggling to score. It struggles down towards the red zone, fumbles, missing kicks. Obviously, we'll get into that here in a little bit. But I mean, you can't put up 458 yards of offense and score 25 points. I mean, that's just horrendous, especially when your defense has how many turnovers? 3, 4,
3.
You're not even going 99 yards every drive. You're getting plus territory on a few of them. 458 yards of offense. But I think it's starting to become a story. Like this Notre Dame offense can move the ball, no problem, but we need to get in the end zone. Like Jeremiah Love's got 14 touchdowns this year. We have some other guys, but it's just like we got to consistently get in the end zone.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of. Here's my take, and as I thought about this post game. We joke about the defense having that South bend but don't break defense, where they'll give up some yards, but then when they get in the red zone, they tighten up. And it almost feels like our offense has adopted this: we'll make you bend, but we won't make you break mentality. We've struggled in the short game, and everybody knows that, and that's what we'll talk about on social and in the media. And then we're struggling to score, in a lot of different ways. And it's like, what is so different? And the only thing I can think of different between now and last year is Riley Leonard was always a threat to run, and he was such a proficient runner that maybe a little bit of that's what we're lacking and what we're hurting. And I feel like Jeremiah
CJ got popped
at
one point where he went he hopped up, but he got popped. It's like, oh gosh.
Yeah, we don't want CJ taking those. I mean, clearly he can take a hit, but we don't want him taking the hit. And
we're not running that. Every time I think Riley Leonard, like the first thing that comes to my mind is that opening drive of the national championship where he's puking at the end of it, right?
Yeah,
because he ran so much. Like CJ's not doing that.
Yeah, we don't want to run our quarterback that much. So I think it's kind of, but like really, what's the difference? I mean, this offense is better in a lot of different ways. You can argue maybe that the line is not as good this year as it was last year. They've had their struggles, but running back is better, and the line's good.
Yeah,
running backs, as good, better. Receivers are clearly better.
We had 4 guys over 50 yards receiving this week.
Yeah,
like when did that happen last year?
Yeah, I mean, again,
and one of them wasn't Love, and he had 4 catches.
Yeah, and the other side of that is like CJ. Again, we talked about it. He put up 300 yards. Did you feel like it was 300-yard passing from CJ? No, you're just like, yeah. CJ played well. Oh, 300 yards? What?
Yeah.
So, I just don't know how I feel like about where the offense is right now. Like we're doing well. We're winning games. We've been putting up 40 points plus. This game we struggled to put up some points. I almost feel like it was a little bit of this. We knew that we didn't have to give an A effort to beat Boston College, and we just kind of came in a little too loose, a little too unfocused. And, this is the type of attitude I think I've saw Notre Dame come into an NIU game with, or a Marshall with, or, Toledo in the past. And you're like, okay, we've lost a couple of these games. So I felt like, oh man, we haven't, I felt like we turned that corner last year after NIU. We really turned the corner, and it's like, oh, we're taking a step back here. Can Coach Freeman bring this thing around? Can he get, can he get these guys motivated back again? Where it's their best effort week in, week out. I think that's kind of where I feel like we're at. And it's like, okay, where are we at from the coaches? I feel like the defense has continued to play better. There was a couple of drives the Boston College had.
I was going to say, we need to talk about, I need to look up the stats of this real quick. You can keep going, but
I think the thing with Boston College that I thought was they done really well was they slowed down and they ran, and kind of what we expected. If I'm Boston College, my game plan is to limit Notre Dame's offensive possessions and run the freaking play clock down to 4 seconds before I snap. And they did that. I mean, what was that first drive of the second half?
That's what I pulled up. Yeah, I just got it.
11 minutes.
21 plays, 74 yards, 11 minutes, 20 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, you want to keep Notre Dame from...
That's insane.
But that's how you keep Notre Dame from putting up 40 points, is you have an 11-minute drive.
You took off 3/4 of the freaking third quarter. Like, well done. It was an excellent drive. We're like...
Yeah. And then...
Oh, my God, yeah.
And then, then they turned around and they went like high tempo when they tried to score.
And they only got a field goal off that.
Yeah. But then they also went high tempo. So what I saw from Boston,
9 plays, 50 yards, and then they got interception. But
yeah. But I mean, you saw them play slow, milk clock. Keep the ball away, wear down the defense, drive, bend but don't break for our part. And then you saw them turn around when they needed to score. You see them go up tempo. which again, that was the backbreaker. They went up tempo. Schuler got the interception, and then one play, boom, Love scores. And then they were trying to go up, stay up tempo again, and that's where they started going up tempo, and we were able to then defense was a little more rested, and pin their ears back and go after the quarterback and make his life difficult. But yeah, when they were going slow, and I think that's the other thing. I don't know why that is, but it's a thing, right? When you get in your stance as an offensive lineman, it seems like you can stand in your stance for an hour and not get tired. But for defensive linemen, the longer they're in their stance, the more tired they get.
I think it's like an antsy thing, though, because you don't know when it's coming.
Yeah, I'm relaxed.
You know what I mean?
I know it's going to come on the second clap or whatever. I know the cadence. Yeah. And on the defense, I'm ready to twitch.
Yeah.
So I think there's something to that, right? Getting lined up and then just waiting to snap the ball. So
yeah, it's definitely interesting. But I mean, all credit to Boston College. That was an incredible generally one of the best long drive. Like that might be the longest drive I've ever seen in my life. It's a shame they didn't end up with a touchdown there, because that would have really changed the game. Like, if they would have scored a touchdown there and made that, yeah,
I know. I mean,
that'd have been huge.
You got to give credit to Boston College for a good game plan and execution. And I think it just came down to Notre Dame didn't play sharp. Just Notre Dame just happens to have better athletes. And because we had better athletes, we were able to do more with less time. Because what was the time of possession like?
Boston College had 35 minutes.
35 minutes of time of possession for Boston College. So, to Notre Dame's 25 minutes. I mean, that's a just huge disparity in time of possession.
Yeah. And Notre Dame was leading at the half, but that drive literally won it for them. That one drive was insane.
And, Notre Dame, I just never, until Jeremiah Love scored his touchdown, I just didn't feel comfortable. Like, it's like, we're going to screw around and, God bless Boston College, right? There you go. You're Boston College. Here you are in the first quarter, media timeout. They're going to recognize somebody from Boston College past history. Yeah. And who do they bring out? The freaking kicker from the 93 Boston College team. And then they show the highlight. Yeah. I literally had like anxiety attack. I almost rushed the field and thought, I'm pretty sure I could get over there and, punch that guy in the nose before they catch
He's a kicker, right?
Yeah, he's a kicker. I could get him in the nose. I could, I'd be over in the student section, so I would, the Boston College student section might have mobbed me. I might have come out worse for the wear, but I could have got one shot off and, release some deep depression I have hidden inside me from that. But I mean, so you sit there and you go through that, and you're like, they're bringing that up. Of course they are. It's their thing. And then you see us extra point clunk against the goalpost. Yeah. We doink it, and then we miss a field goal, and you're like, freaking. And then what do we miss? 2 extra points, 2 field goals,
2 extra points,
and 2 field goals.
No, one field goal. There's the one before that happened. I don't think we kicked any more field goals.
Okay, it was just the 2 extra points, the one doink, the one wide right, and then the field goal wide right. And I haven't gone back and watched any game film. I don't know.
3 different kickers, right?
Yeah, 3 different kickers. So I didn't get a chance to go back and watch. So I can't say, high snap, bad hold. Like I didn't. In real time, I didn't see anything that jumped out at me, because the one doink was right in front of us, and I don't recall anything noticeable from the snap or the hold from my perspective at that point. Going, that's why we missed. So
I want to make note, when you're kicking these, the snap and hold, yes, it matters to an extent, but I feel like the farther away you are, right? If you're 30, 40, 50 yards. That stuff matters so much more than when you're on an extra point and an inside 30 yards. Like you got to go make it. Like if it's a bad hold, you're kicking the laces. You've still got 12 yards you're aiming down the middle.
You would think.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No. I mean, I'm just telling you from experience.
I know you've got experience here.
Yeah, I'm just saying you can deal with a bad hold and bad snap to an extent. Like college kickers on their they should be able to hit a 1-step extra point. Like if it gets held up, you can stop and basically restart your stride if need be, and still hit this. Like it does on extra point. I don't want to say it doesn't mean a perfect operation, but there's a lot more room for error, especially in at college when it's not a 45-yard extra or 35 extra. It's a 20-yarder.
Yeah.
You should be able to hit these in your sleep. Like, and hitting one off the freaking upright is nuts. Missing one completely off the frame is my soccer terms coming out. It's just insane. And yeah, the field goal, what was it, 35 yards? Like,
It wasn't crazy long. It was
yeah,
a lot of high school kids could hit a 35-yarder. And I think you and I kind of talked about it. It's like, okay, now it's in the kicker's head. This is and I think this is so interesting because like the operation is so important, right? A good snap that is not too high, not too low. You can't have this lob snap that takes too long to get back because you got to have the snap get back and give the holder a chance to put it down quickly. So that's important. Like the snap is important, and the more consistent the snap location is and the speed, the easier it is for that that holder to get it. But you're right. I mean, I've seen like a bad snap and a good holder get it in place, with a less than ideal snap. I've seen that.
right.
And again, extra points the easiest of all of them because it's not about distance; it's about getting it up. Right? It's just about up and straight. And I just, again, the hold can screw you up, and you want that ball down a little bit of tilt, laces out. But I'm with you. Like in that short distance, it shouldn't be that big of an issue.
If we're missing 40-yard plus, I'd like, okay, we got to look more at the operation. Like it might not just be the kicker. Like here's gonna get the blame, but extra points is like, unless he's kicking laces every time and it's hanging off where he like, you can see where the place kicker puts his hand down. If he's 3 yards left, obviously that's gonna mess you up. But it's like it's not that obvious to the naked eye. Like it shouldn't be. If it's not obvious to the naked eye an extra point, it really shouldn't affect the system too much.
I haven't looked at our kickers. I mean, too closely. I'm guessing they all played high school. They all played high school soccer at some point.
Yeah.
And I would think if you've played high school soccer, you have a dominant foot. Maybe it's your right or your left. Usually it's the right. You could probably kick the extra point with your left. I mean, a lot of those guys, if they were soccer players, could do what they call a Rabona and freaking make the extra point. Like so. Again, I think it's a psychological point. I think we've talked about this before in the podcast. Like, what people don't understand is the operation, but even less, it's the most difficult thing. I thought it was interesting because in the Freeman press conference, he made this comment, but it's the mental side of it. And I think most people who have played golf can relate to this, right? I mean, it's if you've played golf, you've gone to the driving range and you've been comfortable and you've been with your buddies and like whatever, maybe you've had a beer and you're like relaxed. You can hit your driver somewhat straight, 200 yards, whatever. And then you get on the golf course and you shank one. And next thing you know, you can't hit any of your clubs. You can't hit your driver, you can't hit your iron, like even your putter won't go straight. Like it's that mental side of it. And I think that's the side that's so difficult because you can line up a bunch of kids. And when you were kicking in high school, like we went to some camps, we had some fun with it. But it was pretty clear there was a whole bunch of guys that you could line up and they could kick 45, 50, 55, like all day long. But then what they do at the end of every kicking camp, they line everybody up and they start making a competition and all eyes are on you. And it was amazing, like these guys that just didn't miss, all of a sudden with just a little bit of pressure and spotlight. And this isn't a practice. This isn't even a game.
Yeah. You got a U-shaped tunnel and all of a sudden all the other players are yelling at you, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I mean...
you're still on a tee. You're not like adding a snapper and holder.
Yeah.
Off the tee. There's youth around you.
It's literally... The perfect setup is just where are you at mentally? And I mean, we can put it in the soccer terms. You can put it in basketball terms. Like, I always say this, like, there's kids in basketball that want that last shot. It's tie game, 3 seconds left. There's kids who want that last shot. There's kids who want nothing to do with that last shot. Same thing in soccer. How many times have you seen it in soccer? There's kids that want to take the penalty kick, and there's kids that want nothing to do with the penalty kick. And I think if you watched game day Saturday before the Boston College game, if you watched, like, Pat Mack has the kicker come on, and that kicker was really confident. And all of a sudden, Pat Mack started getting into that guy's head. And you could literally, in a 60-second span, see this kid go from confident to, oh, my God. And I still don't think they gave him a second try, which they said they wouldn't. I don't think he made it, but I think they were just being generous because I think they felt kind of bad. But it's one of those things, and and it's the same thing with quarterback. That there's two positions that are harder for coaches to judge than any other, and that's quarterback and that's kicker, because the quarterback and the kicker can look great in practice, but when it matters and the game's on the line, where are they at mentally, right? Can they just block everything out, just do their job, what they can do, and just do it like they do in practice, or do they start letting those external influences? And it's not easy. I mean, I'm not.
Right.
There's a whole reason sports psychologist is a thing, and there's a lot of people that have that, and it's just some people it's easier for, and some people they got to work through that. And I think that's where Notre Dame's at. I don't think it's anything from the execution or the operation as much as it was, just it's in the head, and it gets worse, right? You start overthinking it, and listen, there's no one more lonely than a kicker on the sideline, right?
Yeah.
And it's like
there's some clips coming out, a couple kickers laughing at, like, that's not where I'd be right now if I was a kicker. I would not be. I'd be hitting extra balls into the net. I'd be doing something, getting myself mentally ready. I wouldn't just be standing there. But yeah, you're at the point where it's like, can James Rendell kick extra point? Can you know what I mean? He's this giant athletic dude. Not all punters can kick and not all kickers can punt. But I know in the media was asked today, can Marcus Freeman about if we want to get a potential soccer player or something. He's like, we're at the 105 max roster we submitted at the beginning of the year to the NCAA. We can't no one can be added. Can't add a preferred walk. Can't add a walk on. Can't have kicking contact. You can't add a soccer player. You can't do nothing. We got our 105. Now, it'll be interesting in the next few years to Freeman keep 104 just in case something like this happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. And I sit there and think about it. It's like, surely out of the 105 kids, there has to be somebody on the roster that's not a kicker that's kicked before. I mean,
a D lineman, a wide receiver.
Ocho Cinco went and kicked field goals one time in the NFL because he'd done it in high school.
My guess, give me Jordan Faison can somehow kick.
He's an athlete.
Tyler Buckner.
Buckner's sister played soccer. Surely Tyler Buckner's kicked a ball at some point in his life.
Leading goal scorer in the ACC, I think. Something like that.
He's had to play soccer at some point in his life. He was a lacrosse kid. He had to play soccer, at least rec level.
Yeah, I'm like, there's between those two guys, I'm like, those dudes are just ballers. That you can just tell. I'm sure there's some corner or someone that's just a freak athlete that.
Yeah.
I'm sure one of these D linemen freaking kicked in high school for freshman football or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
You go to a freshman football game and you see some of these D linemen kicking. So yeah, someone on this team has to go make an extra point.
I saw someone post on Facebook that Aeneas Williams should kick because he was a heck of a kicker in high school. Now,
really, yeah.
I went and looked up his max prep stats. I saw no stats about him kicking field goals. I saw him punt 4 times. So he was a heck of a punter, but I didn't see anything. So I can't verify that. I'm like, really? Aeneas Williams? And I'm like, couldn't find any evidence to prove that. But I'm like, hey, you know what? I love the idea of Aeneas. If he was a kicker, if he had that skill set, give me that and then get a bad snap and yell fire. Give him the ball.
It's one of those things, though. If you're Marcus Freeman, you can't just have open kicking tryouts at practice because you're going to tear down those kickers' confidence, right?
Exactly.
If you've got no one that can make one, you just lost all those guys, all those kickers, right?
Yeah,
because you just showed you have no faith in them.
If everybody gets injured and you do it, it's easy.
Yeah.
So now you've got people, and he made that comment. I think it was, I'm trying to think how he said it specifically. We're going to look at the operation and the mental makeup of the kicker. He mentioned the mental, and I think he knows that. It's a mental thing. It's a mental block. They'll probably get some sports psychologists to come in. I'm sure the team probably has one to sit down with the players and say, okay, what are you thinking? How do you, and see, that's the thing, right? If someone wants to spend time with a psychologist and wants to get, some sort of mental breakthrough, then they're going to have success. But if they're thinking, I can handle this, I don't need a psychologist, it's going to do more damage than good. And that's the thing. It's you can't help those that don't want to be helped. And and they don't believe, and I could see it getting worse instead of getting better. And that concerns me. Because okay, let's just say we're in a great spot, right? AP 10 at this point. If we went out,
AP and coach is number 10 right now,
and the
CFP comes out tomorrow.
Yeah, CFP's coming out on Tuesday. I can't believe we're not 10 or 11 in the CFP. I think the coaches poll and the AP poll are probably going to be. My expectation is they're going to match pretty closely to the CFP. To be my guess.
You always feel that way, but someone's always different. So
There's always there's always a change.
There's always one that's like 4 spots off where everyone thinks they're going to be. So,
but that being said, like we went out, we should be in the college football playoffs. I just can't imagine a scenario where we make the college football playoff and like have feeling good about a run if we can't get consistent field goals inside 35 yards. I mean, so yeah, I think that's going to be a concern of mine.
Especially when our offense is struggling to score. Like I won't say struggling to score, but struggling to finish in the red zone. Right?
Yeah.
You can't have struggling to finish in the red zone and missing kicks.
Yeah. Now
like if you can't score, you got to go get 3. Right? Yeah. You can't. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't go 3 points is better than 0. You can't go 0 in the red zone. I mean, yeah. So what are we going to do? Just keep getting penalties and backing up so Jeremiah Love can run 90-yard plus runs? I mean, that's it's exciting, but I don't think that's a good game plan.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, that seems like the biggest storyline coming out of this game. Can the offense finish off drives, and can our kicking game figure something out where we're not so concerned?
Yeah, again, and go back to the beginning of the season. Like, offensive line and defense were two of my least concerns. Early in the season, offensive line and defense became 2 of my biggest concerns. The defense is shored up. The offensive line's gotten a little better, and they're doing better. Running back is not my concern, but the short yardage side of the running is my concern. So is that offensive line related? Is that running back related? Like, is it just poor play calling? Like, there's a couple things where maybe Jeremiah Love didn't hit the right read here on a short play or in a wildcat or whatever. But then, the one thing I expected to struggle would be wide receiver. You had to prove it to me, and quarterback.
Yeah.
And wide receiver and quarterback are the least of my concerns right now.
Yeah.
So it's like it's all topsy turvy. I don't know what to make of it. So,
but it just also gives that hope that it's going to click, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And once it does, ooh.
Yeah, I mean, because we've had some 40-point plus games, right? And I really thought, I seriously, there was a guy behind us.
You put up 41 at A&M.
Yeah.
Or 40 on A&M.
40 on Arkansas.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's been battling everybody.
Just look at Arkansas, and they were close against A&M. They were close against Texas. Arkansas has kept every game close. Tennessee, and then, we blow Arkansas out, and it's like, what? So we're capable of putting up points. Defense has gotten so much better since week 2. It's just like, okay, now let's where's this kicking thing come from? And I get it. Like, if it was, like you said, 50-yard field goals, okay, that's a difference. Because then you get to that point where there's a comfortable, natural kick, and then there's I've got to stretch it, and I've got to hit it farther. And that's just someone trying to hit a 300-yard drive that normally hits a 220-yard drive. Like, if you hit it just right and you swing really hard, you might do it. But it's probably a 10% chance at best, and it's more like a 2% chance. And we're not seeing that. I mean, these are kicks most high school kids can make.
They don't seem like they're being put in bad spots.
Yeah. I mean, I'm about to tell you to dust off the old recruiting film and send it over to Notre Dame. You need to.
Okay, but I can't make it this year. So that's the worst part,
but there's next year. They need a kicker next year because I don't think we've got. I think the one kid's on scholarship, and the other kid was a rental, and so.
But Truman, if you're listening, you can talk.
Now BC's got a good kicker, so maybe we can get that kid to transfer inside the portal. Hit the portal, young man. Come over and. Good Catholic education. You value it. Come over here and finish it off.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of the interesting thing, and I think that's the struggle and the whole dynamic of like where we're going, and like what worries me right now is just, can we figure out the kicking game? Can we figure out the short yardage run? Can we figure out the kicking game? But other than that, I mean, I've had a great time in Boston.
It was fantastic. And I mean, like we all said, none of this stuff matters until the rankings come out tomorrow night. Notre Dame's Marcus Sherman's going to act like it doesn't matter. We're all tuned in tomorrow night. Like, this is when the season, I don't want to say really starts, but this is when the chaos begins, right? Like, November is going to separate the pretenders and contenders. Like, tomorrow night, Tuesday, we're going to get real rankings that means something. We're going to know where we stand. Are we at 19 somehow looking out? Or are we at 8 hosting a playoff game? Like, where are we going to be? ACC champ's going to be behind us. We're going to have a Group of 5 team behind us. We got to be inside the top 10 to make the playoff right now.
Yeah,
11 and 12 aren't going to be in.
I think
right
we're
now.
9 to 11 is my guess.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if you're 11 right now, you're going to be out because you got the ACC champ behind you, and you've got the group of 5. You got to be inside that top 10.
Yeah,
that's where you got to be.
No.
Obviously, if we're 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, we get that home game. We're not going to be top 4. Let's just rule that out at this point. I'll be
you can't. Not with 2 losses, you can't be top 4.
right. Like that's not happening. But can we sneak into that 8 spot? I'd almost like to stay out of the 8 or 9 spot, or the 9 spot, because then you got to go on the road number 1. 10.
Well, it depends. Who's number 1?
Well, the number 1 team is number 1 this year, right?
I know, but who's going to be number 1? See, because
yeah, if you go play IU,
it's either going to be IU or it's going to be Ohio State. It's going to be whoever wins the Big Ten. And IU is better this year than they were last year. I'll concede that. Like, they are better.
Yeah.
But I'm just not sure how good IU, like...
Yeah. I'd take IU all day, but I'm just saying, I'd rather go play whoever's
but
3 or 4.
I think they're like IU's better, but I still think they're beatable. Now we can't do a Boston College effort. We get blown out by 50 points if we give a Boston College effort. But I could see, like, here's my thought, man. I said this to somebody last week. I really could see a scenario where IU comes outranked number 1 in the initial BCS rankings. Like, I can see IU or CFP rankings. I think there's an argument that could be made for that. I think the coaches poll and the AP poll have kept Ohio State there only because they were the defending national champion and they're really good. But I think when you look at performance and you look at, strength of wins and quality of win and, like the eyeball test, I think you could make the argument IU jumps them. But I have this sneaky feeling that somehow, some way, Purdue is going to knock off IU. And then IU is going to turn around, and then IU is going to turn around and beat Ohio State in the Big Ten championship. Like, I figure, because I think Cignetti's used to being the hunter, not the hunted, and I really think that's going to, like, gut feel, and I could be way wrong because I also thought we were going to beat Boston College by 40. So just note, I don't always get it right. Otherwise, I would gamble and win, and I never win when I gamble. But yeah, I could see, like, IU being number 1 in the first CFP. And I could see that whole thing feeding in. They got the Mendoza talk about the Heisman. They got, the number 1 ranking in the country, and this, that, and the other. And then, like, they could look past Purdue in the classic trap game, looking toward that Big Ten championship because that's all they got to do, losing somehow to Purdue, and then taking it out on Ohio State. And so you got what? In the Big Ten, you got Indiana, Ohio State, and Oregon all ranked ahead of us. Yeah. If Oregon doesn't make the Big Ten championship, and they're not going to, it's going to be IU and Ohio State. Yeah. Are they going to leave Oregon ahead of us, not being the Big Ten champion? Like, they're still going to get in the CFP, but will they be ranked ahead of us? I don't know the answer to that. That's the question I'm asking. And you got what, 4 SEC teams ranked ahead of us right now? No, you got A&M is ranked 3. Georgia 5, Ole Miss 7, and that's it. Then you got the 2 Big 12 teams, Texas Tech and BYU, who play each other this weekend. Yeah. So one of them will fall behind us. Yep. So then Ohio State, Indiana, A&M, Bama, Georgia, Ole Miss. Yep. There's 4. And then, there's 4 SEC teams ahead of us. No. Right? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I forgot Bama. A&M, Bama, Georgia, Ole Miss. So 2 of them are going to make the championship. Yeah. 2 of them are not. So that'll be the interesting mix and all of that is, like, do they – because whoever wins the championship is going to get the first round bye. Whoever loses is going to have a second round. I mean, you can make the argument if Ohio State, Indiana, A&M, and Alabama – win the rest of their games and they go in right where they are. Ohio State undefeated, Indiana undefeated, A&M undefeated, and Bama with that week 1 loss. And they each played to a 7-point game. That could be your top 4 still. Yeah, you could make that argument. I think, I don't know. It's hard to say. I kind of think. Because who are you going to bump a
a Georgia team up with one loss, an Oregon team up with one loss who didn't make the cut. Like they're
See,
they're
that's what I
too
don't
championship friendly. Like unless they plan on jumping at BYU or Texas Tech, who's undefeated up into that spot, it'll be those four.
Yeah, my thinking is you're going to give your conference champion from the Big Ten and the SEC 1 and 2. That's a lock. Then you might give your Big 12 conference champion 3 or 4. Now, to your point, if IU and Ohio State play a classic game and it's 3-6 points,
Perfect. Yeah, A&M loses by 3 in the SEC championship.
A&M, Alabama, and it's a 3-point. Like that's going to be tough, right? So yeah, I think that's like we don't have enough data points. We have one CFP cycle we've gone through, and if you look at it, it was different because the 4 conference champions were. Yeah. It didn't matter. The 4 they were 1 through 4 in the seeding.
Yeah.
And now they can kind of go this whole wild seeding thing, but I almost think the conferences are going to want some home games in that first round. So I think you're going to get. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I kind of think like you're going to have I think you're going to have assuming it's a close game. I think it's more likely to be a close game inside the Big Ten than it is to be a close game inside the SEC. But I could be wrong. I mean, I could see a scenario where IU like throttles Ohio State. I don't see Ohio State throttling IU, but I could see maybe I'm wrong. If you told me the game was a 14+ point victory, I'd say IU won it.
Yeah, I'd say Ohio State did.
Yeah. But I also think there's a good chance that Michigan knocks off Ohio State again this year.
Yeah, that'll be.
And then chaos is in play, right?
Yeah.
So what happens if Purdue, and there's no way Purdue should beat IU this year, but it's a rivalry game and Purdue played pretty solid last week, right?
Yeah.
So what if scenario if Ohio State loses to Michigan and IU loses to Purdue would just be mind-boggling. I mean,
yeah, I think if Ohio State lost, then I don't know what the tiebreaker would go down to for Oregon getting into the Big Ten championship game. That'd be interesting. I think IU's basically with one loss it automatically ends, especially because they have the head-to-head tiebreaker over Oregon. But yeah, I don't know what the tiebreaker would be for Ohio State and Oregon.
Yeah, I haven't worried about Big Ten conference. That's not my problem. But yeah, the SEC. I think the SEC is going to be interesting. I just don't know if there's going to be another loss or two somewhere in there. There's always an upset. There'll be a game you don't expect. Georgia, Alabama, A&M, IU, or Ohio State. Like one of them going to lose an unexpected game. The first ranking is not going to be the last ranking. Like it's not how it works. It's not like every year like, oh, none of these teams are going to lose. Someone's going to lose. Something's going to happen. I mean, Notre Dame.
That's the fun of it. But yeah, Notre Dame could lose.
We could lose, right?
We got Navy this week. We got Pitt next week. Pitt's a good team. Navy, the first real test last week against North Texas, lost. I don't see this week being too much of a problem. We'll get that later in the pregame show. But
yeah,
I mean, Pitt's going to be a darn good team. Freshman quarterback. They've been playing hot. 2 loss. But yeah, they're going to be a good team. They could end up being ranked by College Football Playoff Committee. It'll be interesting.
And we need them ranked.
Yeah, it'll all get clearer Tuesday night, right?
Yeah.
We'll have a better idea. We'll be able to talk more. We'll get into that, I'm sure, a little bit on the Navy preview pod. But break that down in College Football Playoff rankings.
Yeah, I think that'll be interesting to see how that whole CFP ranking comes out and where we end up and how we end up and who ends up where. Because I find this is where it gets exciting, right? Now I think the postseason's viable. We've got some tough games ahead of us, potentially tough games ahead of us. Like you said, we should be able to handle business at Navy because Boston College and Navy are going to be pretty much the same game. They're going to control possession, time of clock, limit our possessions. We just got to be efficient in the passing game and then do enough in the running game. Should be able to get by Navy and a pretty good Navy team, but get by Navy. Pitt's going to be an interesting challenge. Syracuse, I think, was going to be more of a challenge until they lost to Angeli, and now it's kind of like, okay, we should be able to get through and beat Syracuse. So Navy's concern. Pitt's a little bigger concern. Syracuse not so much. which probably means if we lose one of those 3 games, it'll be to Syracuse because I would be nothing but wrong in typical fashion. So yeah, I think there's a whole lot of what ifs, and you can play the what if game all night. But that's not fun. Let's get some data points here the next 24, 48 hours and say, okay, now let's plug it in. What does it mean?
Yep. All right. So you got anything else to wrap up this pod?
I don't. We got a contest winner?
Oh, we do. It was I just threw my paper away, but I had the name down. It was
within 1 yard, right?
within 1 yard again this week. I get my paper. Forgot I had that on there. It's Sally On.
Sally On.
It's Sally On. Check your DMs. We DM'd you.
Yeah.
I finally heard back from the USC winner, so we're getting him a shirt out here soon. Yeah, it's Sally On. Reach out to us. We can get you a shirt.
That's right.
Thanks.
And you're in the hunt. You're in the drawing for Syracuse tickets. So
Yeah, we got 2 more entries left.
yes, 2 more chances. So we'll have to think about the Naval Academy. Maybe we should go time of possession for Naval Academy.
Oh, wow.
That will be an interesting one.
Yeah.
All right. Then it's the question: is it Notre Dame's time of possession or Navy's time of possession?
Yeah. Let's think about that one.
All right, think through that one. We come up with a plan for that between now and preview. So
sounds like a plan. All right. Well, everyone have a great week. Watch those CFP rankings. We'll be hitting you with a Navy preview here later in this week.
all right. Hey, Coach Freeman, sorry we couldn't get to you, but if you need a kicker, reach out to Carter.
Yep. All right. Go
As
Irish.
always, go Irish.